Hey, it's Ron with Successful Open Relationships and Great Relationships University. We're talking along the lines of how you can have a worthwhile and worthy full relationship. And in this video, we're going to talk about how you can become a worthy lover. What does being a worthy lover, a worthy full lover entail? What if people were to gravitate towards you? What if people were just to be attracted to you? They don't know what it is about you, they just want to be around you. Whether it's a sexual attraction or not. So I want to talk about what attraction is, how to be a worthy full lover, where people are gravitating towards you. They are attracted to you for no reason that's clear to them, but you know what's going on. And so we talked about in the previous video, there's two common delineations what relationships come in. Either a relationship, which is overwhelmingly the case for virtually everybody, a relationship which is taken granted, a granted relationship, and then there's a relationship which is merited. A merited relationship, to merit something, is to deserve something. A merited relationship exists simply because it merits its existence. The relationship deserves its existence. Neither parties involved in that those relationships are obligated in that relationship. Let me give you an example. Some people won't really make sense of that because they can never see a relationship outside of what society has instilled for them. What about a best friend's relationship? A best friend's relationship is a relationship between individuals, and it is a relationship. Remember, a relationship, never forget this, is how entities interact and interface. A friendship is a relationship. A best friendship, one in which in the high echelon of your friends, someone who you love to be around, who you're around with the most, who you can trust with everything. A best friend is a merited relationship because there are no best friends, there are no friends which are obligated to each other. Now, let me give you an example if you can't make sense of that. People that are obligated to each other in the beginning have the opportunity to become friends. Have you ever been in a group of friends where you had the same challenge? Such as you're in the military, you build a camaraderie, or you're in a workplace and you build camaraderie. And the reason why is because you have the same challenge. You share the same goal, you share the same challenge. You have an outside force in which you're having to handle. Outside of your in-group. Because you develop an in-group, you develop some intimacy, not necessarily sexually. You become friends. And so when I say the relationships that are merited doesn't necessarily have to start out merited. They could start out obligated. And people that are in granted relationships, they begin to love each other even though they're granted to each other. So none are an island on its own. There are correlations between the two, but none of it is causation. It doesn't mean that because you're in a merited relationship that you love each other, or you're going to be with each other for the duration of your life, or if you're in a granted relationship that you can't love each other. You understand? So going back, there are two delineations of which relationships come in, and if you want a happy, fulfilling, satisfying, amazing relationship, you want it to be merited. You can work at meriting your relationship. You can be in a granted relationship and work at meriting your relationship. For example, if you're already in a relationship now that follows the convention, you can follow my advice and then work towards meriting your relationship. Or if you're not already in a partnership, you can begin with meriting the relationship by communicating the things that I teach. If you go to the online course, successfulopen.com, let's talk about this. You want people to gravitate towards you. You want people to be attracted to you. What is it to be attractive? There are a couple of fashions in which attraction comes in. People imagine attraction as, oh, you're good looking. Good looking is very little of it. Let me prove it to you. For a woman, if you're a good looking guy, A woman will give your good looks about 20 seconds of attention, at which point she will need to know your personality. You will need to demonstrate your personality to that woman, unless that woman is specifically looking for someone good looking. Or she's specifically looking for someone who would provide for her in some way. You understand? But we're talking about in the general, I'm looking for someone I can love and admire and adore and respect and enjoy freely. A woman will give you 20 seconds of your good looks, at which point she will need to know what kind of person you are, if you're a man. Now, if you're a man, women, I want you to really pay attention to this because a lot of women don't know this. A man will give women, through the infatuation phase, whether it's immediately or a week or a month, or depending on their experience with women, or several months or 18 months of unlimited access. Their infatuation period, where their brain drugs them so that they can see nothing wrong with the person whom they're infatuated with. They will give them that time for their good looks, in which they are infatuated. At which point she will need to demonstrate she has a good attitude. This is depending on the experience of the man with women. She will need to demonstrate she's a good person for the man to remain attracted to her. So for a woman, she needs to know his personality instantly. For a man, he doesn't necessarily require the personality of the woman, but she will need to demonstrate good personality for him to keep attracted to her. You understand? So, I like to say, to be attractive is to have somebody gravitate towards you despite your looks. My favorite quote from a fellow named Voltaire, he said, "Give me 5 minutes with the Queen of England and I will talk my ugly face away." Something like that. I will talk away my ugly face. In other words, what he's saying is that if you give me a conversation with anyone, even the Queen of France, I will take them to bed. It's because to be attractive has little to do with how you look. And so, what is it? I call it attractants. How can you develop or endeavor? In the previous video I talked about endeavoring to be worthy. How can you endeavor to develop these attractants? What are these attractants? Focus on your personality. I do very little to appear impressive. In fact, to appear impressive creates the opposite effect. Trying to appear impressive gives the people the impression that you're trying to impress them, which creates the opposite result. Being impressive is not trying to be impressive. Being impressive is recognizing that this person has a high or appropriate opinion of themselves, and they have a high regard for themselves. They hold themselves in high regard so that my opinion matters less to them than my opinion of them. I've got 30 seconds to talk about this. So I want to continue on in the next video. For people to gravitate towards you, you want to develop attractants. To be attractive has little to do with your looks. You want to be a loving person, be kind, be sweet, be attractive, be compelling, be listening, paying attention to them, being interested in them as an individual. And they will pay attention to you. And eventually, you will develop attraction for each other if you're sexual individuals.